Namaste, welcome to the class. We are studying the poetry and poetic content of Kathak. In that context, Kavits are very important aspects of the poetic content of Kathak. The development, evolution of Kathak is very deeply linked with the trajectory that its gharanas have followed. Each gharana having its own unique and non-linear journey, the aesthetics of the different gharanas have infused quality of multifaceted ethos into this dance form that has evolved a new consciousness experientially. This new consciousness is based on a diversity of styles and aesthetics that at various historical points mingle into and move away from each other, thereby establishing their own ideological institution of dancing and also influencing each other's dancing styles. Scholars and academicians have broadly categorized 4 different gharanas of Kathak that are very well known and you know them very well: the Lucknow Gharana, Jaipur, Banaras and Raigad Gharana. Now, we follow a brief history and development of each of these gharana and also look at some of their kavits, examining which will hopefully lead to an insight on their social, cultural background. Now first because we've talked too much on Lucknow and Jaipur Gharana, but the Banaras and Raigad Gharana do not find much mention. So let's start with the Raigad Gharana. Here we begin our journey into the exploration of this Gharana at the crucial historical juncture of the death of Nawab Wajid Ali Shah, the ruler of Awadh and arguably one of the most important patrons of the artist. He was 10th and last Nawab of the state of Awadh or Oudh, which roughly corresponds to the present state of Uttar Pradesh. He ascended the throne of Awadh in 1847 and ruled for 9 years, losing his kingdom barely 2 days before the 9th anniversary of his coronation. Not only was Nawab Wajid Ali Shah a supporter of arts, but he himself was a very well-known rasika and art enthusiast who has hundreds of thumris, guts and technical compositions to his name. Kathak dance attained new heights of popularity and glory under his guidance and generous patronage. Thakur Prasad Ji was his Kathak guru and the unforgettable Kalka Binda brothers performed in his court. The two are said to be founders of Kalka Binda or Lucknow Gharana of Kathak. His court saw modern Kathak taking its initial form and also housed hundreds of artists who became active contributors to this historical process of evolution. Pageantry of Rahas, Jogya, Jashan, dance dramas and Kathak performances contributed to this. Lucknow became the magnetic cultural center where the most reputed musicians, dancers and poets of the time flourished. The greatest musicians, dancers and instrumentalists of the time enjoyed his munificent patronage and hospitality. With his death, Kathak saw a period of stagnation as the dancers were left without a roof on their heads. Largely, the gurus had no option but to align themselves with the courtesans or the tawaifs and start giving them tuitions. This happened for 2 reasons. Firstly, Kathak dance, owing to its Shringaric element and renditions of love songs of Radha and Krishna, became a space that could easily appropriated by the courtesan tradition and converted into a form that accommodated enticing looks, seductive costumes, and visibly flirtatious glances within its dancing framework. This moral and sexual promiscuity was not acceptable to the sophisticated British mannerisms that were getting inflicted by the Victorian anxiety. The problematic and antagonistic relation of the Victorian ethos with courtesan led to a public degradation of Kathak and reduced it to a mere seductive practice that became a breeding ground for sexual promiscuity. This rather unfair reduction of this diverse and layered dance form into one feature also generated a public discourse that largely disfavored any kind of personal engagement with the dance. Hence, respectable families did not allow their women and children to learn this dance form. It was considered disrespectful and inappropriate for members of the upper class and caste families to let their women dance a form that began to be largely identified by the courtesans. Secondly, owing to the lack of patronage and business in teaching dance to the families, the dancers were forced to migrate in search of greener pastures. The void that death of Wajid Ali Shah created was filled at a critical point in history with the patronage offered to Kathak by Raja Chakradhar Singh of the Raigad Principality. Regarded by historians both as a child prodigy, he is also seen as a great patron of artists and musicians. As he invited artists and dancers from all over the country to stay in his court, having ascended the throne in 1924, he acquired a reputation for himself within 3 to 4 years of ascendancy. He is credited with establishing a Gunijan Khana or a chamber of experts in his court where artists were housed free without being charged of anything. This is an important point to consider. When an artist does not have to bother with financial issues, he or she can freely concentrate on the development of his or her artistic practice. Thus, freed with the pressure of providing for themselves and their families, the artist along with Radha Chakradhar Singh created thousands of compositions that contributed greatly to the repertoire of Kathak and gave it a definable form. Several new vocal and technical compositions steeped in the Navarasa gave an eclectic and rich ethos to Kathak. Raja Chakradhar Singh made two very significant additions to the yearly calendar of Kathak. He started the annual Ganesha festival. He organized an annual festival where he invited musicians and artists from all over the country to assemble in his court and showcase their art. This kind of large-scale gathering of artists from various musical and performing idioms in one place is unheard of in other historical accounts of this period. This assemblage created an ideal breeding ground for art to flourish as all artists put their best forward. This healthy competition space also made the artists strive to create the best of their compositions. They also interacted with the artists from other genres, and this exchange must have been undoubtedly important in the large journey of evolution of art. Raja Chakradhar extensively studied the different art forms and also examined the way time is treated differently in each discipline. According to Dr. P. D. Ashirvadam, it also made him more observant and he was able to discern the great potential of Kathak. In 1933, Raja Chakradhar asked the gurus in the Gunijan Khana to train their best students extensively and send them to perform in the All India Conference in Allahabad. and it was the first All India Conference of Artists in 1933. Sri Kartik Ram and Sri Firtudas were sent from his court to represent the state of Raigad. A one of its kind conference, this event finds a space in the history as one of the first steps in establishing Kathak as a performance art and marks the entry of Kathak from courts to the proscenium stage. Largely a colonial invention, the proscenium arch created a stage that became the performance space for several artistic forms. Indeed, the entry of Kathak into the exhibitionist space of stage that commands an audience is a very important occurrence, as it shifted the focus of performance from kings and courts and from the kotas where the mehfils of courtesan played out, often to the degenerate and feudal audience. The new audience that came to such proscenium performances were the new bourgeois audience that sought affinity with the arts. The culture of evening performances is also a crucial middle class bourgeois affair that encouraged leisurely evening activity and also cultivated a sophisticated class of people who engaged in the classical knowledge. Maharaja Chakradhar Singh was not only interested in music and dance, but he was also interested with literature. He had good knowledge of Hindi, Sanskrit, Urdu and Oriya. He wrote many books related to dance, music and literature. After studying the ancient Shastras and texts, Raja Chakradhar embarked upon a journey to create treatises of his own. Some among them were Tal, Bal, Pushpakar, which was related to the art of playing the tabla. Another was Tal Tayonidhi, a collection of tabla bandishes that used talas from a quote of 1 to 380 matras. Interestingly, the first of these texts weighed 3.5 kilos, while the other more than 10 times, at tipping the scale of, can you imagine, 36 kilos. Ragaratna Manjusha related to traditional Indian ragas and raganis. Though he was all-rounder, but he was much more interested in Kathak dance. He textualized the basics of Kathak and also wrote about the thousands of compositions that Raja Sahib himself composed and extracted from the gurus of several disciplines and the various gharanas of Kathak. These parans and other principles are recorded in his two extensive treatises, Muraj Paran, Pushpakar. About the Pakhavaj and its parans, Muraj means Pakhavaj and Paran is the type of rhythmic composition as we know. Nartana Sarvaswam, on dance. The latter was related to the bandishes and the bowls of dance, while the former was such a large compilation weighing 6.5 kilos. Maharaja Chakradhar Singh organized and participated in the famous music conference of the decade of the 30s. In 1938, an All India Music Conference was held in Allahabad. It is from this conference onwards that he became famous all over India. In 1939, at the All India Level Music Conference held to welcome the Viceroy, saw Maharaja Chakradhar Singh himself playing on the tabla for the Kathak dance presentation of Kartik and Kalyan, two of the best dancers of the Raigad Darbar. It was after this that the very impressed Viceroy awarded Maharaja Chakradhar the title of Sangeet Samrat. Maharaja Chakradhar was both a good tabla and good pakhavaj player. During the music conference held at Kairagad in Chhattisgarh in 1943, in which Kartik Kalyan presented Kathak, again Maharaja Chakradhar Singh played on tabla for the dance. Now let us analyze some compositions from Raigad Gharana. It is Krishna Lasya, a joda composed by Raja Chakradhar Singh. Kuna Kita Karagida Kitataka Kukudidi. फिरत छुमातो दिन चिक छन 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 नगत तथई छुम कुछ माता थुन थुन थुमा कुथई या थई झिन झिन सुनु कित तक छुम त्रिक छई चिक कछी नक थई झिन 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 कित छननन नन 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 छिन गिन थई ऋणु जुणु थई तत् तत् थई ऋणु जुणु थई तत् तत् थई ऋजुणु थई तत् तत् थई कुणु कित कर गिद किट तक कुकुधि किरछुत मत्तो धिन चिक छन 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 नग तत् थई छुम कुछ मत थुन थुन थुम कु थई यई जिन जिन सुकु सुनु कित तक छुम त्रिक थई छिन लछि नक थई छिन छिन जिण किट छन नन 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 छिन गिण थई ऋणु जुणु थई तत् तत् थई ऋणु जुणु थई तत् तत् थई ऋणु जुणु थई तत् तत् थई कुणु कित कर गिद किट तक कुकुधिदि फिरित छुमतो दिन चिक छन 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 तग तक थई छुम कुछ मत छुन थुन धुम कुत थई या ते ही जिन जिन सुनु किट तक छुम त्रिक थई जिन तक कछ नक थई जिन 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 किट छन नन 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 दिन गिनी थई ऋणु जुणु थई तत् तत् थई ऋणु जुणु थई तत् तत् थई ऋणु जुणु थई तत् तत्. This particular composition titled Krishna Lasya reveals nothing characteristic of Krishna in its first overt reading. However, it is noteworthy that the composition uses very few words taken from tabla and pakhavaj and rests the composition primarily on the bols of dance. The exclusion of tabla and pakhavaj bols lessens the presence of tandava and the highlights lasya through the nritya. Thus, in the hands of a well-trained dancer, this composition could successfully depict the delicate beauty of Krishna's dance. The Raigad Gharana and particularly Raja Chakradhar insisted on maintaining the storytelling tradition or Katha Vachan elements of Kathak. He felt that even if a dancer is dancing a technical composition, it should not be arthahina or devoid of meaning. He desired that even such a composition should also be emotive and tell a story, and moving beyond Niras Nritta, aim at having the anga of Nritya in it. Therefore, in this composition, he has highlighted the Lasya anga of Sri Krishna through the softer bols of dance to generate the Shringara rasa in Krishna rasa. Another, let's have a look at the another Nritya composition of Raja Chakradhar. Ki kuku kan gaka dham tale din nate dhatva krante girivara tarunata runapriya kante radha di kak nakadha drika na dha 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 drika na dha. This is indeed one of the most beautiful compositions to come out of the repertoire of the Raigad Gharana. Here, through metaphors and symbolism, Radha is explaining to Krishna that without love, life loses its meaning. The life of those who are often after gold and riches is cursed, as love is the purest wealth. We also have been fortunate enough to obtain the meaning of the bols of this composition, to understand and be able to deconstruct its larger meaning linguistically. Ki is Radha, Kukku is Krishna, Kang is suggestive of sang, Kadam Tale beneath the Kadam tree, Dina Nathe, Lord of the humble, Dina Nathe. Dattva Kant is Krishna said to the lady or Kanta. Tarunu in the context of love. Priya Kante is beloved Radha. Didika Kanakadha, those who love gold or riches out of the two. Drikanda, useless, Dhikkar. The meanings and these meanings of the Kavit indeed help us in locating the origin of the bowls of the composition and also enhance our understanding of Kathak as a form of storytelling, where even the apparently used technical dance is as and probably even more emotive than the vocal or worded compositions. The Raigarh Gharana and one of its key figures, Raja Chakradhar Singh, played a very important role in giving modern Kathak its contemporary shape, drawing out the best of every Gharana, drawing for the best from the best in every Gharana. But it was not just a mixing of styles, he added his inputs too. Since many brilliant artists were working together, the trend of creating jodas or bowls in complementary patterns gained credence. Chakradhar read up in ancient books on percussion and discussed with Vidwans to revive the practice of jodas. He also created the Tala Chakra, a circular diagrammatic form of Tal Avartan. An important feature of the Raigarh Gharana is the fact that there are many compositions about natural phenomenon and elements. It must be understood that the kingdom of Raigarh was the forest-rich Chhattisgarh region of modern area and modern India. There were few urban centers, but many rural and forested areas with no distractions but enjoying the beauty of nature. Therefore, there were beautiful lush landscapes with heavy monsoons providing the grist for the creative mill. Thus, a distinctive feature of the Raigarh Gharana was that rhythmic patterns that were created and they were given thematic names such as Megha Pushpa, Chamak Bijli, Brahma Bij, Dal Badal Paran, and these are all bandishes, that compositions of tabla, pakhavach and dance. The bowls themselves don't have a meaning, but he selected those with the appropriate sounds to bring out the theme. Thus was born the Dal Badal Paran, which is an abstract composition evoking the images of the thickening clouds of the rainy season. Dal Badal Paran. Then there is the Kadak Bijli Paran, which has its name suggests about the flash of lightning in the dark skies. The sharp bowls allowed for a chamak to come through both on the oral and the visual axis. To reproduce the bowls faithfully, the Raigarh dancers of yore did riyaz wearing iron gungrus on river sand. This made movements so difficult that when you danced normally on stage, your feet could produce the sounds very clearly. Another speciality of this gharana was the dances were taught to execute movements from Ati Vilambit Laya to Ati Dhruta Laya. It is very difficult to dance in such a slow laya. Bandishes were created for these rare layers too. These things used to be done in other gharanas too, but slowly died out. In the Raigarh, they were revived and built upon. Another distinctive feature was the elaboration of Abhinaya. First, the Vidwans would do Abhinaya on a line of song in the sitting position. It is considered tough since there is limitation of movement, but this would go on for a long time. Thereafter, they would stand up and continue the elaboration. The Maharaja was a well-known poet as well and composed thumris. One amongst them is Chandra Badani Mrigalochani. Abhinaya was not always very stylized as the people around were rustic and rural folk. Thus in Raigarh Gharana, one comes across several guts and chals based on a folk background. One other unique feature of the Gharana were poems and nritta compositions, which, when danced on gulal and create an image on the floor with the footwork. Thus, thanks to the effort of Raja Chakradhar Singh, the Gharana has provided the future generations with limitless bandishes to explore and perform. Now, let us look at some of the creative aspects, kavits of Lucknow Gharana. Located in the capital city of the kingdom of Awadh, this Gharana began developing with the rise and reign of Asafuddaulah in 1775 to 1798 AD and Nawab Wajid Ali Shah 1847 to 1856. The name Awadh comes from the ancient city of Ayodhya, the hometown of Lord Rama. During the Mughal rule, the name got altered with Ayodhya to Awadh. Historical surveys and accounts find that there was a separate caste of Kathaks in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, and these Kathak establishments had sophisticated and mature traditional dancers or Kathaks. It is widely known and accepted that Nawab Wajid Ali Shah was a devoted Rasika of Kathak and also contributed to this form by writing several thumris, dadras, bhajans and technical composition, a lot of which are still in practice today. The founders of Lucknow Gharana, Bindadin Maharaj and Kalka Prasad, were great masters of Abhinay and Laikari respectively. Bindadin Maharaj was a gifted writer and composer, and Kalka Prasad was an expert in playing the tabla and pakhavaj and ornamented Kathak with his mastery over lay and rhythm. The concept of Sanchari Bhava found more space owing to the introduction of thumris. As each line could be repeated several times, the dancer found innovative ways to represent an emotion in many different ways. Keeping in with the opulent taste of the courts of Lucknow and also the larger ethos of the city, the compositions acquired an amorous and sensuous character. The figure of Lord Krishna and his Ras Leela provided the space for this sensuous love to be fleshed out and elaborated in its full Shringaric form, and even Sivar Nritta Kavits became highly emotive of this. Some kavits from Lucknow Gharana, let us try. Shisha Mukata Bansi Mukha Baje, Chapala Nayana Kundala Khanake, Mora Mukata Pitambara Sohe, Manda Manda Madhuri Musake, Manda Manda Madhuri Musake, Manda Manda Madhuri Musake. Here the poet describes Lord Krishna as having a peacock feather crown on his head and a flute on his lips that he is playing. His eyes have a mischievous spark and the ears are adorned with beautiful earrings. He is wearing his characteristic yellow color garment, and looking at him, Radha smiles to herself. The last three lines constituted a tihai, a rhythmic flourish within the poetic structure. Another example is आप ही कुल पूर्वजों की मुक्ति हेतु कियो भगीरथ भक्ति भगीरथ तप ध्यान लगायो प्रसन्न ब्रह्मा हु दर्शन पायो गंगाधार कुल मोक्ष ही पाई है धर गंग कौ रोक न पाई है शिव की जटा एकमात्र सहारा जो रोक सके वेग गंगा धारा तब किन कृपा शिव भगीरथ पार बांध्यो गंग वग गंग सर जटा पार ध्यानहु भगीरथ ब्रह्म ज्ञान को पाए ध्यानहु भगीरथ भोल कृपा को पायो ध्यानहु भगीरथ कुल को मोक्ष दिलाए. Here the poet has sought to capture the enigmatic story of Ganga's incarnation upon earth. Rishi Bhagirath observed grueling and demanding dhyana and tapasya to bring Ganga upon earth. Brahma, impressed with his power and willpower, obliged him by granting his wish. However, he warns Bhagirath that the impact of the flow of Ganga's waters will surpass the endurance of Prithvi. Bhagirath then pleads Shiva for help. Lord Shiva constrains and contains the powerful flow of Ganga in his jata or strands of hair, and thereby controls the intensity and the magnitude of Ganga. In this process, Bhagirath redeems his ancestors, taking them to the doors of heaven, and Shiva showers his blessing upon the earth. Here again, the Tihai is at play, but playfully creates three different endings to the common prefix. This Gharana shows a variety of moods and rasas and is heavily influenced by the metaphor of spiritual love of Radha and Krishna. Not only did this era produce a large body of works on Abhinaya as base, it also expanded the Nritta and its technical bolts that highlighted the eclectic virtuosity of this form. Nadike tattit kadam dhrum tale, nachata natvar takat radha, umanga jhijikat lachakathirakan, tanga jhingan tadita nagadita, ginta dha gindha, dittaka gindha, git ginda git ginda, gitaka gin, gitaka ginda, gitaka ginda, pujikata jijika, chitaka kachu hole hole, chandra chund chapala chali ajpal, आतक आतक दृग मटक मटक, मुख मंद्र हसे, मनमोहन मन माधो, मनमोहन मन माधो, मनमोहन मन माधो, दुक्कुना kat. As we sense in the above two kavits, the characteristic bolts of the kavits of the Jaipur Gharana are short and cut to sharp. They very often include all alterations, and the words are conjoined in a manner that they project active and sharp movements which are combined with the fierce and energetic movements of the performer. The clan of Kathaks from Jaipur come from the warrior clan and perform for warrior judgments and patrons, and hence there is an inherent aggression and ferocity in their native dance, which has relatively softened over time owing to interactions with other gharanas of Kathak. The movements and bolts often allude to warrior like ethos, where the projection is grand and awe-inspiring. This includes excellent command over footwork, which turns into a fierce display of tayari of a dancer and multiple spins taken in continuation. The Gunijan Khana of Maharaja Savai Jai Singh of 1699 to 1743 provided the much needed momentum to the arts in this region. Some well-known stalwarts of the Jaipur Gharana are Narayan Prasad ji, Jailal ji, Hanuman Prasad ji, Sundar Prasad ji, Sundar Lal ji and Jailal ji were the sons of Chunilal ji and became household names owing to their skills. And now let us look at some of the works of Banaras Gharana, or maybe it can be called Janki Prasad Gharana. The creation of a category of this Gharana has often caused confusion, and it has not been accepted entirely whether this is a proper school of thought or not. It is better known by Janki Prasad ji, who hailed from Bikaner in Rajasthan. He created Natwari bolts which were different from the bolts of other gharanas and hence cannot be comfortably put into any other gharana too. The gharana was consolidated by Pandit Sukhdev Maharaj, father of Alaknanda Devi, Chaube Maharaj and Sitara Devi. Some well-known names in this gharana are Hazarilal, Sunaina Hazarilal, and their guru, the late Ashik Hussain Khan. Pandit Sukhdev Maharaj created many kavits that are being revived nowadays by dancers of the gharana like Vishal Krishna, who is also his descendant, his great-grandson to be precise. Vishal dances many of them, even including dancing them while standing on the rim of a brass plate, an old Kuchipudi Tarangam like almost forgotten tradition of Kathak. Some of them are Durga Paran, Kali Paran, Shiva Paran, Vishnu Parans, Hanuman Parans, and their. They could be pure or mixed verses with or without tabla bowls and pakhavaj bowls. At the end of it is safe to say that there is no Kathak but Kathaks. Different forms coming under the same umbrella called Kathak, each containing its unique flavor and adding richness to this dance form. Each gharana has followed its own trajectory of evolution and development and has in many ways gone away and astray, only to come back to the same ever flowing and enriching stream of Kathak Vachan. Namaste.